kita, khususnya jargon 20-20-20, triple 20. Jadi jargon 20-20-20 itu selalu kita sosialisasikan kepada masyarakat, kita anggap sebagai golden time.
Issues with that location if the ground's not quite solid. So if we did our last one on passive, now we're doing active. Well, we're here in Indonesia because Indonesia is a very high-risk area for natural hazards. It's got a subduction zone that wraps pretty much around the entire country, and this means that it's perennially affected by major earthquakes, by tsunamis, and then associated with that you have volcanic eruptions, you have landslides. It's a geologically very active place, but the people here oftentimes don't have the resources or the education to be able to help mitigate these hazards. So the idea of why we're here is that we want to better understand these hazards, where they come from, how often they might occur, how they might affect the area, and then also we want to help inform the people of that and help them to better plan and prepare for these hazards so that when they do inevitably return, it's not something that's catastrophic for the people. They're able to recover from it and move on and mitigate their losses. So we really need to know what the potential is for different areas of this city to produce strong shaking, weak shaking, moderate shaking.
Nice.
Pacitan is a really proactive city when it comes to disaster mitigation. They're really doing as much as they can to prevent these hazards from creating disasters in their city. So that's part of the reason why we chose them, because we know that the information that we're going to be producing will be actively applied. So we've taken measurements throughout the valley, we've taken measurements up on the hills, and our goal is to be able to tell the people of Pacitan where they should be focusing their efforts and what portions of the city need their attention the most. A lot of the structures need to be reinforced, but they need to start somewhere.
Yeah, 4 ounce. One is the one
Lower?
liquid. I thought the lower one is.
My love for Indonesia started just through reading about the active tectonics of Indonesia, about all the active faults, how there were more earthquakes and more active volcanoes, more tsunamis than any other country in the world. And because that's what I was interested in, I was drawn to Indonesia. And also because the more I tried to find out about the geological evolution of Indonesia, the more difficult it was because there wasn't a lot known. There was a lot of work done early on by the Dutch, and then after Indonesia got its independence, very little work had been done. And so those two things, a place where you can actually see active processes, you can see tectonics in action, and a place where there's still a lot of fundamental questions that aren't answered.
Kami sebenarnya sangat berterima kasih sekali karena mereka itu kan bagian dari akademisi, peneliti. Jadi kita sendiri sebenarnya orang BPBD itu kan bukan ahli bencana. Jadi orang BPBD itu bukan ahli bencana, tetapi kita bekerja dalam hal penanggulangan bencana. Jadi kalau semuanya yang terkait, misalnya kalau semuanya Pacitan terdiri dari 12 kecamatan ya, di mana kita mempunyai potensi bencana yang sangat tinggi. Di wilayah hulu kita punya potensi longsor, tengah banjir, sedangkan di wilayah pesisir selatan kita punya potensi gempa dan tsunami. Nah, akademisi peneliti itu sangat-sangat banyak sekali membantu kita dalam hal kajian. Karena dari kajian mereka itu nanti bisa menjadi referensi kita untuk dijadikan pengambilan keputusan, khususnya nanti pemerintah daerah harus bisa berbuat seperti apa.
it's not recording.
Ya, dan mulai dari 2013 beliau banyak melakukan penelitian tentang kebencanaan, mulai melakukan penelitian tentang kebencanaan. Pertama kali di Ambon.
Jenis tanah di wilayah yang rentan gempa. Apakah tanah itu kalau kena gempa bergetar itu dia lunak, tanahnya jenis yang lunak, atau tanahnya itu jenis yang keras?
Nanti tsunami kalau tsunami 58.
It's pretty open. It's easy to see a lot of buildings starting to form and fall apart. So it'd be cool about that.
One of the amazing things that I've been able to do here, as you mentioned, is be able to take a drone, get some photos and some video from the air, which usually you're not able to get without that kind of technology. And in a couple of those places, we were actually able to fly certain patterns and make sure to get photos, different angles of, in this case, a couple collapsed school buildings. Using those pictures, we can actually go in later with software and make a 3D reconstruction of those buildings. Something we can go back into with detail and with geometry, accurate measurements and things you can take, and be able to continually study the damage of the earthquake beyond the scope of when this is all going to be cleared away, new buildings built. We can still learn from our trip and the data that we take here going into the future, so we can help out more and not have to come back and get more data, if that makes sense.
Satu ke bawah, yang di atas ditarik sampai nggak bisa lagi.
Yeah, I think I've definitely learned a lot about the people here and about myself, and I think a big takeaway for me is just the people's spirit, just how happy they are and how cheerful they are. Even though they might be under hard circumstances, they continue to have a positive attitude. That's really impactful to me, as well as just doing good things just brings joy. Serving other people brings me joy, and brings, I can tell, for at least my team, it brings my team joy as well. So I'm happy I'm doing something that's worthwhile, that I'm not just selling systems in California or something, but I'm actually helping people and helping save lives.
So my role here has mostly been giving presentations in schools, to local communities, at viharas, at different places where people gather. And so I've done a lot of that. I think we've been able to teach probably 3,000 students, maybe more, and most of those we've been able to survey as well, to get a feel for their understanding of natural disasters so that we can better meet their needs and kind of cater what we're doing here and our research to what's going to help them the best. So that's been my role. It's taken me from the beginning in Pacitan and Jogja area, where we did some work, then going to Lombok, where there was a big earthquake that happened last year, and so we were able to make a unique presentation that has specifically helped them.